All right, we are live streaming. We will start this meeting in 1 minute. It's 1:59. You may see a pop-up on your screen that we are live streaming, and you can just click got it. Ms. Sapp, I know it's 2 o'clock, but I want to make sure that our live stream is in fact going through. Can you give me 1 minute to make sure?
Sure.
All right, Ms. Sapp, we are live streaming. We're good to go.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
To everyone for joining us this afternoon for the District Library Book Objection Committee meeting. The purpose of today's meeting is to review an objection to the book titled Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Moss. School-based and district staff, as well as parent and community volunteers, are invited to participate on each committee. I'm Dawn Sapp, Associate Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, and Mr. Forson, our St. Johns County School District Superintendent, has appointed me to facilitate today's meeting. Today's meeting will result in a recommendation that will be forwarded to Mr. Forson. This committee meeting is public record and therefore subject to sunshine law. It is being live streamed for public viewing. Committee members are not required to have their camera on during the meeting. We are committed to civility and decorum. Please assist us in maintaining a constructive meeting environment by remaining respectful of each participant during the meeting and afterwards. Additional discussion of the objecting party or committee members outside of the meeting is discouraged. Disparaging comments are contrary to district expectations regarding character and civility. Committee members received several resources in advance of the meeting. The resources included the objecting party's request for reconsideration, a copy of the book, Florida statutes, professional source reviews, St. Johns County School Board rules, the Library Bill of Rights, and the School Library Media Material Evaluation Form. The process for today is as follows. First, the objecting party will have the opportunity to address the committee. They will provide any information they deem compelling or new regarding their request. Next, the committee will have a discussion utilizing the School Library Media Material Evaluation Form. Finally, the committee will determine a recommendation for Superintendent Forson. There are two options. Number one, retain the book for a designated level, or number two, remove the book from all St. Johns County School District libraries. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to attaining consensus. Let us begin. Jean Moore is the objecting party for Tower of Dawn. Ms. Moore, this is your time to address the committee. You have up to 5 minutes to share your objection.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts with you. My objection to this title is that it contains sexual activity and sexual nudity. According to ratedbooks.org, it is rated a 3 out of 5, which is the same as a rated R movie. Florida Statute 847.001, Section 16 states, sexual conduct means actual or simulated sexual intercourse, deviant sexual intercourse, sexual bestiality, masturbation, sadomasochistic abuse, actual lewd exhibition of the genitals, actual physical contact with a person's clothed or unclothed genitals, pubic area, buttocks, or if such a person is a female, the breast with the intent to arouse or gratify the sexual desire of either party, or any act or conduct which constitutes sexual battery or simulates that sexual battery is being or will be committed. According to the law, House Bill 1069, these things are not allowed in public school libraries. Here is an example for the record. She moaned when he slid a hand up her thigh, burying her skin beneath the folds of the gown. Then he did it to the other leg. When he nipped at her mouth and traced idle circles with fingers over those beautiful thighs, starting along their outer edge and arcing over, Irene did not appreciate being toyed with. Not as she wrapped a hand around him and his entire body bowed into the touch, the sensation of it, not just a hand stroking over him, but Irene doing it. He couldn't think, couldn't do anything but taste and touch and yield. And yet he found the words, found language again, long enough to ask, "Have you ever?" Yes, the word was a rough pant, once. Kyle shoved against the ripple of darkness, the line of that throat. He not only kissed it, instead licked it. Then against her skin, his mouth skirting up her jaw. Do you want to keep going? But he made himself pause, made himself rise to look at her face, his hands on her sleek thighs as her hands still gripping him, stroking him. Yes, then? Irene's eyes were gold flame. Yes, she breathed. She leaned up, kissed him gently, not lightly, but sweetly, openly. Yes, a shudder racked through him at the words, and he gripped her thigh right where it met her hip. Irene released him to lift her hips, dragging herself over him, feeling him, with only the thin gossamer panel of her gown between them, nothing beneath. Kyle slid it to the side, bunching the material at her waist. He dipped his head, eager to look his fill, then to touch and taste and learn what made Irene Towers lose control entirely. Later, Irene begged hoarsely, later. He couldn't bring himself to deny her anything, this woman who held everything he was, all he had left in her beautiful hands. Certainly, this is a sexually intense moment of the story. Although this is by far not the most explicit book by this author that has been purchased by the school district, it still contains sexual activity and sexual nudity, which is not allowed. It is baffling to me that the school district provides sex education that encourages abstinence, but then turns around and stocks the library with erotica that stirs up those sexual feelings. That is like telling a child not to play with fire, but then hand them a lighter and a box of matches. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Ms. Moore. Committee members, we will now begin our discussion utilizing the school library media material evaluation. Before we begin, please be reminded that any material used in a classroom, made available in a school or classroom library, or included on a reading list may be objected to for any or all of the following reasons. The material is pornographic or prohibited under Section 847.012 of Florida statute. The material depicts or describes sexual conduct as defined in 847.001 Florida statute. The material is not suited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material, or the material is inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used. So our evaluation will be centered around these 4 reasons that an objection can be submitted. The first reason where the material is pornographic, if the majority of the committee finds that the book does meet the definition of pornographic and should be prohibited, then we must remove it from our school libraries. For the remaining 3 reasons, the committee will have to determine, is there an appropriate grade level for the material, or should the material be removed? So keep in mind, our final task on the form is to make a recommendation to the superintendent Forson. And there are only 2 options. We can retain the book for a designated level, or we can remove the book from all St. Johns County School District libraries. Again, the statute is clear. We must remove the title if there is a violation to question number 4. The floor will be open to discussion, and each committee member will have the opportunity to share. Comments will be summarized to provide an overall committee response for each question. Please remember to raise your hand to participate in the discussion. For our meeting today, both agreeable and opposing viewpoints are welcome, and we look forward to attaining consensus. So let's begin. All right. So as far as our form goes, at the top of the form, the first question asks, what is the objecting party's reason for their objection? And it lists those 4 items. This actually came about in statute after Mrs. Moore submitted her objection. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take the language that she put into her objection for her reason, and we will place it there for Mr. Forson to see for question 1. So we do not need to address that with the committee today. So we're going to go to question number 2. For question numbers 2 and 3, these are really just for the committee to kind of confirm for Mr. Forson that you did look at the materials that were provided, and you read over the objecting parties' materials, and you reviewed the reviews of the book. So for number 2, you are going to use your green check or your red X, and you're going to indicate, did you look over specific pages in the material that were cited by the objecting party? So this time I need a green if you did, or a red if you did not.
Okay, that is 8 green checks. You may remove your vote.
Okay, thank you. So for question number 3, this is regarding your review of professional and/or crowdsourced reviews that you considered. So if you considered these reviews, you would give a yes, a green check. If you did not consider the reviews, please indicate no with a red X.
That is 7 green checks and 1 red X. You may remove your vote.
Thank you. And for question number 3, is there anyone who wanted to make a comment about any of the reviews that you read? You would raise your hand if you'd like to make a comment.
Steve, if you can remove your vote for us. Ms. Sapp, I don't see any hand raised.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so we'll go to question number 4. Is the material pornographic or prohibited under Florida Statute 847.012? We'll indicate with yes or no.
All right, we have 7 red X's and 1 green check.
Okay, are there, if I guess
You may
gotta
remove
clear
your vote.
Yeah, clear your votes, but are there, is there anyone who would like to make a comment? You would raise your hand.
No hands are raised.
Okay, question number 5. Does the material depict or describe sexual conduct defined in Florida Statute 847.001, FRIN 19? Yes would be green check, no would be a red X.
We have 4 green checks and 4 red X's. You may remove your vote.
Okay, is there anyone who would like to make a comment regarding number 5?
No hands are raised.
Okay, number 6, is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented? This book was available in high school, so grades 9 through 12 libraries. So we will answer the question in reference to, for grades 9 and up, is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented? So we'll go again. If you're voting yes, it will be a green check. No is a red X. Is the material unsuited to student needs and their ability to comprehend the material presented?
We have 8 red X's. You may clear your vote now.
Okay, and question numbers. Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any comments? Raise your hand if you'd like to make a comment with regard to number 6.
There are no hands raised.
Okay, question number 7. Is the material inappropriate for the grade level and age group for which the material is used? And again, this book is available in our high schools, so it would be in reference to grades 9 through 12. Go ahead with your votes.
We have 8 red X's. You may clear your vote.
And are there any comments for question number 7? Please raise your hand if you'd like to make a comment.
There are no hands raised.
Okay, we are at the point where we need to make a recommendation to the superintendent. And so this material is currently available in grades 9 and up. According to the votes, the group felt like we got consensus unanimously that the materials are suited for grades 9 and up. There was a split vote that there is some material that could be defined as sexual conduct. It appears that the committee believes that although there is some material that could be defined as sexual conduct, it is material that is appropriate for grades 9 and up. So we're going to start with a vote on if you believe the material is appropriate for grades 9 and up, you would vote yes with a green check, no with a red X.
We have 8 green checks. You may now remove your vote.
This time, please raise your hand if you'd like to provide any additional comments or would like to vote on any other recommendations for the superintendent.
No hands are raised.
Okay, thank you. All right. Thank you to all of our committee members for your participation today. We will be recommending to Mr. Forson that Tower of Dawn remains available for grades 9 through 12. There are 2 final action steps that we need in order to complete the work of our committee. First of all, your acknowledgement as a participant on the committee is needed on this recommendation. It will include notes from today's discussion and it will be emailed to you. You may acknowledge your participation by responding to that email, or you may review and sign the documents at 40 Orange Street. And we need everyone to complete this, please, by Tuesday, November 14th. The second thing that we need to make sure that everyone does is if you do have a book, please return your book and any notes from your work that you used to prepare for this meeting to 40 Orange Street by Tuesday, November 14th. We will take our summary and make sure that that gets provided to Mr. Forson, and then he will make his final decision. With no further questions,